Welcome to this course on banner advertising. In this course, we're going to cover how to drive traffic with banner advertising. This course is divided into 3 modules. Module 1 covers creating banner ads. Module 2 covers ad campaign goals. And Module 3 covers setting up and running the campaign. By the time this course is over, you'll know how to effectively create and run banner ad campaigns for your business. So, without further ado, let's dive into the first module. Okay guys, welcome to Module 1. In this module, our expert will be teaching you about designing the actual banner ads. So get ready to take some notes and let's jump right in.
All right guys, so we are inside of Banner Snack, and this is where we're going to create our AdWords banner ad. Now, there's 2 options here, single banner and banner set. Banner set is an incredibly useful tool that you need to be aware of. It can really decrease the amount of time that you spend trying to customize all the different dimensions and sizes of banners. You just grab your main elements, so your main image and your headline and maybe a little bit more text, and then you create one ad, and then it automatically creates all the rest of those ads in all the different dimensions. The sidebar dimension, the header dimension, the perfect square dimension, the smaller perfect square dimension. You understand what I'm saying? And all you do is you go through after it's auto-generated those and you click and drag things around a little bit. It's an incredibly useful tool. Now, to keep things simple for the purpose of this lesson, we're just going to make a single banner ad to use inside of the Google Display Network ads platform. So let's go with a standard large rectangle. Now, there's a ton of great templates to work with and to start with. We're going to skip these, and of course there's some seasonal ones here taking up most of the queue. We're going to go ahead and create our own. So I'm going to come over here to add image. I'm going to grab this image of a gal over here, put her right there. We're going to scale her a little bit so she takes up a little bit less space. There we go. Almost perfect. Okay, and that gives us a little bit of room for a headline above her. Let's add some text. Because of the size of the ad, we'll just use the subheadline size. And we're going to say, just for grins, that we're selling some type of a tooth whitening kit, okay? So let's actually put the word overnight there. We'll grab a larger headline text. We'll put whiter teeth overnight, and let's give it a little bit of color. Blue and some red. Whiter teeth overnight. Pretty straightforward, standard toothpaste ad. These have not changed very much in the last 200 years or so, I don't think. Let's see. So everything jives here. Okay, this is a good square banner ad. We've got a smiling woman with white teeth. We've got the headline, whiter teeth overnight, and we would presumably be sending someone, when they click on this, to a landing page for a free, trial kit or something like that if we were doing a loss leader thing, or we could send them directly to a sales page or an e-commerce store or something along those lines so that we can get them into our funnel and offer them our solution. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and we'll call this Teeth 01, and let's see, let's save again, and this time what we'll do is we'll download the PNG. So now we'll come over here to Google AdWords, and we are going to click on, let's go to campaigns, new campaign, and now we need to pick a goal for this campaign, which is what we'll do in the next lesson.
Hey folks, welcome to Module 2. In this module, our expert will be covering ad campaign goals. So get ready to take some notes and let's jump right in.
Alright, so we're here where we left off in the last lesson at the campaign page. Basically what Google Ads has done, and most of the major ad platforms have done this as well, is they want to take users and have them choose an overarching, overall campaign goal before they start creating their ad. And then throughout the process, based on the goal that they choose, they're going to get little hints and little tailorizations to sort of help them accomplish what they're trying to. It's a pretty smart move, and it makes it much more accessible to your average Joe who would sometimes just play with these different ad platforms and not have any success and then give up. So this is definitely a move in the right direction. Let's go through each of these goals and see which ones are relevant to us since we're running a display ad campaign. So first off, sales. Drive sales online, in-app, by phone, or in-store. That's pretty straightforward, right? You're either going to be sending somebody to a sales page or to an e-commerce store. And you can also do it via app and phone with phone numbers inside of the ads, which is kind of cool. And it looks like campaign types, search, display, and shopping are associated with this, so this could be an option for us. Next one, leads. Get leads and other conversions by encouraging customers to take an action. Pretty straightforward, sending people to landing pages, right? Campaign types, search, display, shopping, video. Website traffic. Get people to visit your website. The most basic, straightforward one out there. A little bit overused, I would say. Generally speaking, you should be choosing one of these two if you're just moving website traffic. But if you're just doing content marketing or something like that, this could be a good option. Search, display, shopping, video, once again, are the associated campaign types that you can choose from if you choose this as your goal. Product and brand consideration. Now, this is an interesting one. This is where you can actually get some complex ads that allow users to sort of explore the different features of products or services and allows them to sort of compare yours to other offerings out there. It does work with display and with video. Brand awareness and reach. This is less about people clicking and actually taking an action and more about just getting your brand identity, your visual brand identity and name out there in front of as many eyeballs as possible. So it's mostly focused on impressions, not clicks, not conversions, but impressions. Okay, so that subconsciously people start becoming more aware of your brand because they're seeing it everywhere, whether or not they're actually, typing into a form or buying your stuff at that moment. So campaign types for this, as you can imagine, display is in fact one of them, and video is the other. App promotion. That's exactly what it sounds like, and you're trying to get installs and interactions for your mobile app. And create a campaign without a goals guidance. You should really stay away from this one unless you're kind of an ads guru and you know everything about this. You know the bidding, you know the auction concept, conversions, all the different algorithms and variables and elements involved, and you understand how it works, and you want to just sort of go in there and do everything on your own. This is the option for you, but it's not a particularly smart one if you're not an absolute AdWords guru. So it's better to pick one of these. And I think for us, we're just going to send people straight to a sales page for our teeth whitening solution. Let's click on this. We're going to choose display. We could choose shopping if we're sending them to an e-commerce store or something like that. That's definitely an option. We'll just do a standard display ad this time, though. And standard display ad campaign. Gmail campaign, that's a pretty cool concept as well, sending people or showing people ads within their free Gmail accounts. We'll stick with standard display campaign so we can show up and pop up on websites all over the web while people are browsing. And we'll go to, we'll say whiteteeth.com, which I don't even know if that is a website. I'm just typing it in. We'll hit continue. And this brings us into the actual process of setting up the campaign, which is what we'll start getting into more in the next lesson.
All right, welcome to Module 3. In this module, our expert will be covering setting up and running the campaign. So get ready to take some notes and let's jump right in.
All right, so here we are on the actual campaign settings page. We're going to go through the process of setting up and running and launching our campaign here. Now, the first thing you might notice is this number right here. Our targeting's reach as far as impressions is 10 billion plus. Why? Because we haven't set any categories to narrow down our audience yet. So right here in location, language, and down here in the audience section, we'll start narrowing that number down. Maybe not as much as you think though, because it's teeth whitening. It's not really super specific to any demographic. It's not really super specific to any niche or any hobby or any area of interest. Everybody, for the most part, has teeth. So we might end up leaving this pretty broad. Now let's say we're going to operate inside the United States only, so we won't mess with the location at all. Although if you really wanted to, you could add cities, zip codes, states in here. You could even go to advanced search, and you could narrow in on one little neighborhood. Let's say you were a door-to-door teeth whitening kit salesman and you wanted to do some local area stuff, generate leads in the local area. You could drop a pin right there inside of Lexington, and or let's say, this whole area here, and adjust the radius a little bit and target anybody within 10 nautical miles of, let's say, Shelbyville and Waddy in Kentucky there. So you can get pretty advanced with the locations. We're not going to do that though, okay? It's teeth whitening kits. We're mailing them out to people, okay, in our little pretend scenario. And we'll just leave it to the United States at large. Let's come down here. Languages, we'll just stick with English because the ad is written in English. And language doesn't really have any more of an impact on our product or our ad. We want to focus on high quality traffic right here. Or we could focus on clicks and impressions. Now, honestly, if we're selling things and we're not really selling anything super expensive, traffic quality doesn't really matter too much for something as basic as what we're doing. We're selling a normal priced teeth whitening kit. Okay. Now, if we were sort of trying to qualify leads, and sending them into an appointment settings apparatus or something like that, I would be more inclined to focus on high quality traffic. But I think everybody wants white teeth. And so we're going to focus on clicks in our case, okay? There's a bunch of other things you can choose here, by the way. Sometimes, depending on what type of ad you selected, you'll see conversion value or just plain conversions here. In this case, it's grayed out because we haven't set up conversion tracking as another feature within our AdWords account. But if you were to do that, you would be able to optimize here for conversions, which used to be the language, by the way. If you're wondering where that went, it's no longer what do you want to optimize for, it's what do you want to focus on, which I think was just a marketing decision made at AdWords. If you wanted to, you could manually set bids. I'm going to set it to automatically maximize clicks so that we're allowing Google and its algorithms to do all the work, and we're going to just see, after running that for a while, if we're happy with the results that we get. If we're not, we can always change it to manual. But let's trust Google, the almighty Google, and their algorithms for a while. And we're not going to set a CPC bid limit because this is our first campaign for this product. Again, make believe here. And we just want to see what happens first, and then we'll adjust bid limits or manual bidding later on if we want to. But if you wanted to, you could set this at $1, and as you can see here, it won't go beyond that bidding per click. And when we talk about bidding, we're utilizing the old standard auction strategy, which is very complex concept. It's difficult to understand, but you're basically letting the algorithm take over, and you're letting the algorithm know, hey, this is what I'm willing to bid. Okay. We're paying for clicks. Every time somebody clicks, we're paying for a click to our sales page. And let's see here. Budget. Now this is important, okay? Budget does not mean a cap on what you will spend each day, okay? It does not mean a cap. What it does is it takes the average. It says enter the average you want to spend each day. So whatever number you put here, it'll take that number and it'll basically average it out over the course of 30 days so that you will not have spent more than that number times about 30. Does that kind of make sense? So if you put 10 in here, you can expect about $300 to have been spent by the end of the month. Okay. And on, Monday, you might have only spent $5. On Tuesday, you might spend 20. Okay. It's important to understand that this could be double. Every day you could spend double what you actually put in this line here. Okay. But the average over time, after 30 days, will end up being this number times 30. Okay, so it's kind of complicated. It's a little bit confusing and misleading, but just understand that's what you're doing. So basically, come up with a monthly budget, divide it by 30, and put it right here. Okay, I don't even know why they choose to structure it this way. It's a little bit confusing, but that's what you're doing. A monthly budget divided by 30, and that's approximately what you're going to put right here. So let's go ahead and say that we're willing to spend, $100, up to $100 per day, or roughly $3,000 per month. Delivery method, if you wanted to, if you were on a tight timeline, you could set accelerated and it'll spend your money faster and get your ads in front of more people and get more clicks in a shorter period of time. In our case, we don't have, really a tight timeline. We don't have a sales quota to meet by the end of the month. We don't have a specific product launch that ends on a given day. We don't have a live event or anything. We're not bound by the calendar, and people's teeth are not going anywhere. So we can just stick to the standard method here. Ad group name, auto-generated, ad group 1, we'll stick with that. And then here we've got audiences. Now, audiences, if you have a very specific type of product in a certain niche, you would be doing a lot of poking around in here. In our case, again, it's a teeth whitening solution. So it's in our best interests to keep this relatively broad. But just for grins, so you can see what could be researched in here, let's poke around a little bit. And let's theorize that maybe people interested in beauty and wellness would be more likely to click on this ad. And we could always do another campaign later, or just choose one ad group within this campaign that focuses on that target and see if in fact we do get better results that way. But we could do this, okay, and that would basically narrow down the audience a little bit from super broad to less broad. For our purposes, we'll go ahead and keep it, we'll go ahead and keep it as it is without any specific audience restrictions. Demographics, honestly, we could sit here, do some research, and maybe find out that females are more likely to buy this, which sounds right when I say it. That sounds like something that your average person would think. We don't know that. And oftentimes when you actually do your market research, you'll find out that the reality is different from conventional wisdom. But yeah, we could do research that gives us actual demographic results. In fact, anytime you run an ad campaign, you should have sat down and done some market research and figured out what's called an ideal customer avatar, okay, where you're actually saying, hey, our ideal customer, the most likely one to purchase, is between 35 and 54, and they're female, right? And their parents and their household income, is in the top 30% or higher. Okay. Now that I don't think really applies to us too much for this example. Number one, because we're pretending to be a teeth whitening company, so we don't actually have the the audience data. More importantly, though, again, everybody's got teeth. So I think for our first ad ever in the history of our teeth whitening company, we'll leave it pretty broad and then analyze the results afterwards. Okay. It's time to create the ad. Let's click down here. And we'll click on Upload Display Ads. And the final URL for that is whiteteeth.com, like we chose earlier. We'll click Choose Files to Upload. Go ahead and grab our neat little White Teeth Overnight ad. We'll click Add to Ad Group. And there we go. We've got our ad campaign ready to be started. Create campaign. Had to click it twice there. And this is a quick summary of all the details of our campaign, okay? So we can review all the choices that we made. Again, we left it pretty broad, so there's nothing super interesting here except for a reminder of course, the daily budget. Let continue, and voila, there we are. Now here's what you want to pay attention to when you're monitoring your campaign after it's launched. Clicks, impressions, click-through rate, and average cost per click. So clicks, obviously somebody clicking. Impression means all the people who saw it loaded on their browser at one point, whether they noticed it or not. That's why it's called, impressions instead of sightings. A lot of people don't even notice ads, right? They have banner blindness. But it was loaded. There's an instance of it being loaded in someone's browser. That equals one impression, okay? So clicks, impressions, click-through rate would be what percentage of the impressions of people who technically quote unquote saw it, ended up clicking. Okay, that's your click-through rate. And then average cost per click is basically the total cost that you've spent to get that number of clicks. That equals your average cost per click. Okay, so that's what you want to monitor. We don't really have much to compare it to right now, and of course, at the moment, we don't have any data whatsoever to look at, but you would want to monitor those, compare them to past campaigns if you do have past campaigns, and also, obviously, the big thing to compare it to here is when you send someone into your funnel, your teeth whitening kit funnel, how much money are you making? What's the average customer value, the lifetime customer value, as well as the initial order value? And if those numbers don't jive, meaning if the expense per click outweighs the average amount that you make from bringing on a customer, obviously you need to get back into that campaign settings page and start tweaking things a little bit and try to get that number down as much as possible. But that's it, guys. We've gone through the whole process of creating a visual, nice display ad, setting it up with all the various parameters, and finally launching it.